The politics of immigration. Same tools, different stories. Now this is obviously going to be about immigration and ICE, and let's just look behind the scenes, right? Behind the rhetoric, and see if we can't figure something out here. If you watch politics long enough, particularly American politics, you start to notice a pattern. To some it is obvious, to others it would seem a lie, and yet there it is for all people to see. The facts often stay the same, but the story changes depending on who's holding the microphone. Whoever controls the media controls the mind. Jim Morrison said that. Narrative. This is the most powerful tool, well, aside from fear. You can hear more about fear as a tool in my podcast episode number 48, The Great Wisdom of number 3, Fear, on the podcast From My Standpoint. But immigration, as with border security and enforcing the law, is an issue where the script continuously flips, the actors get recast, and professional claqueurs prompt their audience to boo at the same scene they once applauded. What's a claqueur? Well, a claqueur is someone paid to manufacture fake enthusiasm or outrage. So applauding, cheering, protesting, or even crying to make the public believe a message, show, or figure is more popular or more hated than it truly is. Malcolm X once said, "The media's the most powerful entity on earth because they control the minds of the masses." So let's talk about the Obama years. During Obama's term, enforcement of immigration laws was framed as sober responsibility. Same laws, same enforcement. Headlines spoke of targeted removals and focus on criminals, not families. ICE raids were covered as routine and just. Even CNN did ride-alongs. ICE Chief Tom Homan, he was respected and honored for his service. Obama even awarded him the Presidential Rank Award, well, the Distinguished Service version. It's one of the highest honors for federal civil service workers. Deportations under Obama were enormous. Over 400,000 in 2012, the largest annual total in U.S. history at that time. And according to USA Today about those numbers, in all, 96% of the people deported fall into Homeland Security's priority categories, including recent border crossers, repeat immigration violators, and fugitives from immigration court, with only 55% of these being convicted criminals. Obama defended this by saying, "We're a nation of laws, and I have a responsibility to enforce the laws. And our focus is on criminals, gang members, and those who pose a threat to our security." Then the Trump years. Then Trump took office, and the narrative shifted. The same enforcement actions became sweeping crackdowns. The same agency once praised was suddenly a symbol of division. News panels began to debate if ICE had become too aggressive. Trump stated, "If you don't have borders, you don't have a country. And my job is to enforce the laws Congress passed." In 2019, deportations were around 267,000, lower than Obama's 2012 number. Yet the support evolved into cries of hate. Then the Biden years. Because then Biden came in and the headlines shifted again. The border became a humanitarian challenge, or a crisis. Encounters reached record highs, over 2 million in 2022. Record numbers of crossings and border encounters occurred during Biden's term. According to CBP, it was multiple months and years of border encounters during Biden's term, setting all-time records. The hypocrisy. Obama oversaw record deportations with little criticism. Trump oversaw fewer deportations but received a hailstorm of criticism. Tom Homan went from award-winning public servant to villain without changing jobs, the law, or principles. The only difference was the president. As advertising executive William Bernbach once stated, All of us who professionally use the mass media are the shapers of society. We can vulgarize that society, we can brutalize it, or we can help lift it onto a higher level. Soon the language about immigration, deportation, and ICE changed dramatically, depending on who was president. Under Obama, ICE was deemed necessary. Under Trump, the same ICE became Gestapo, domestic terrorists, and fascist enforcers. The agency didn't change. The rhetoric did. If it wasn't so sad, the irony might almost be poetic. The same agency, ICE, is a guardian under one president, but a symbol of oppression under another. The same laws and actions are heralded as necessary under one president, but condemned as cruel under another. The facts did not shift. The claqueurs reframed the narrative. And if we truly want to be honest, we will admit the truth. This speaks more about us and our loyalties, biases, selective outrage, and willing submissiveness of our cognitive abilities to the claqueurs than it does about the policies or laws themselves. When the story keeps changing, but the facts stay the same, it raises a deeper question. Who's actually in control of the narrative you're consuming? Critical thinking matters. Not parroting commentators or headlines, but pausing to ask, does this make sense? Who benefits from me believing this version of the story? Narratives are crafted and delivered with purpose. If you're not paying attention, you'll find yourself cheering one year and condemning the very same thing the next year. Thinking for yourself does not mean rejecting every source. No. It means refusing to outsource your judgment, your cognitive ability, your very character. It means noticing when the tone shifts, when the same facts are framed as heroic or horrific, depending on who's speaking. The claqueurs are not your conscience. Truth does not bend just because the narrative does. In a world where outrage is profitable and confusion is useful, and it really is, clarity becomes an act of rebellion, and wisdom comes from truth. Sometimes the most radical thing you can do is to step out of the studio audience, slow down, look past the noise, and decide for yourself what's real.